for a foot, for an inch, yeah, I fight for you all. Is the truth and I'm in, yeah, I fight for every breath that I take, and I fight for every step that I make. When you add up the inches, life or death, winning or losing is the difference. You are the witness, inches around us, every second decisions. Too slow and I missed it, fast and I skipped it, but I'm on time so I gripped it. If you were ready to die then you will get this. If you're afraid of your life then you fight for that edge. No matter how far I come, I know I still got a step to take. Pull that shit, yeah, I do what I have to get where I got to. He does that shit, I've been called worse by better, so what can you do to me? Fight for that edge. This is more than a team, it's family and I'll die for them.
If you didn't know, I am the first entry for Super Indy. And who is I, you may ask? That is Andrew Palace. Andrew Palace! And I will win Super Indy 13.
Hi. Well, as if you didn't already know, my name is Chris Sabin, and there's only really one thing you need to know about me. For the last 14 years, I've been in one relentless pursuit of perfection inside of professional wrestling. 10 years ago, I won Super Indy XIII, and tonight, a decade later, I plan on repeating that performance. Look me in the eyes. I have the eye of the tiger. I have the heart of a lion. And before it's all over, before it is all said and done, IWC will hail Sabin.
Yo, it's your boy the Neon Ninja, the Aerosol Assassin, the Aerial Arsonist, Facade, and it was almost 10 years ago that I attended my first IWC event. That was Super Indy XIII. Here it is 10 years later. Last year I won the Super Indy tournament. This year I'm going to be the first man to not only repeat, but not even be in the tournament, make it to the finals, and defeat whoever it is that has that title at the very end.
Oh, Super Indy, the maple leaf muscle, the definition of definition. The only thing that's gonna matter tonight is 2 words: the Canadian Destroyer. You'll know it when you see it.
Por primera vez en mi carrera luchística estoy participando en el torneo de la Super Indy XIII. Yo, Lowrider, me llevaré ese campeonato. México, Puerto Rico, Pittsburgh, I am here.
Tonight is the 13th Super Indy, and there's nothing I want more than to be the champion here. I didn't drive all the way from Boston to Pittsburgh to lose. I'm Matt Taven. I'm must-see TV. And at the end of the night, this hand, maybe both hands, will be raised up in the air as the new Super Indy champ.
13 years you've had this amazing Super Indy tournament, and not 1 year, but this year was Ethan Page invited. I am Super, and I am the Indies. And tonight I prove it when I beat everyone on my way to earn that title. Super Indy champ. And that ain't confidence, it's all ego. Mr. Sammy's come through, Lewis Lyndon here. And it's all about second chances. Super Indy 2 times for me, and tonight's gonna be different. I'm winning it. And all ego, I'm going right through you. And come through will reign supreme.
Super Indy 13 is all about the founding fathers. Tonight, Jimmy Vegas leaves with the heavyweight championship, and Justin Idol is going to walk out the brand new Super Indy champion. Believe it, everyone needs an idol.
IWC, Super Indy 13. Let's face it, you can't spell Super Indy without Joseph Brooks.
I'm Sammy Guevara. I'm the best ever. And tonight I'm gonna prove that that's no catchphrase, that's my real life. I drove from Houston, Texas all the way here. I'm here in Pittsburgh. And IWC, I'm gonna prove to you and the entire wrestling world that I am the best ever. These ain't no words, this is nothing more than my real life.
Tonight I had the opportunity to be part of the Super Indy.
And you know, I wasn't invited to prom, but tonight, I'm ready to dance. My name is The Alternative, Ashley Sixx, and tonight, IWC is about to get real dirty.
I'm Justin LeVar, and this is the man who put entertainment back in sports entertainment.
RJ, I'm saving it. One show a night. Super Indy 13? More like Sports Entertainment 1.
It is my honor to introduce to you and those joining us in the VIP lounge, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome VIP Joe Rosa. Ladies and gentlemen, your opening contest is a special Fatal 4-Way Last Chance matchup. The winner of this contest will be entered into the Super Indy 13 tournament. It is one fall to a finish. Your referee, CJ Sensation. Introducing combat number 1. He weighs in at 195 pounds and he's a roaming the streets at night, creeping while you're sleeping. He is the Neon Ninja, the Aerosol Assassin, the Dreadlock Daredevil, Facade!
Welcome everyone to an annual tradition. 13 years strong, but will 13 be a lucky or unlucky number for this impressive, talented field? I am Joe Dombrowski, joined by Jay Worthington Farnsworth as we kick off with an individual who has become synonymous with Super Indies in recent years, the Super Indy Samurai himself, Facade.
13 years strong of the best Super Indy wrestling. This is Super Indy 13, Revengeance.
It's not called Revengeance.
Yeah, it is.
But certainly, this matchup is about revengeance for men not in the tournament.
He weighs in at 195 pounds, wrestling out of Pittsburgh, representing the Founding Fathers, Justin Idol!
Traditionally, in recent years, Super Indies usually have the second chance Super Indy Scramble. A chance for an individual who either lost a qualifying matchup or didn't make the cut due to other circumstances. An opportunity to gain the final spot in our field this evening. Facade was defeated by All Ego Ethan Page a number of weeks ago. Justin Idol had other business that kept him out of Super Indy qualifiers, but an opportunity to make good here tonight.
And so far, these two gentlemen both would be great additions to the tournament.
Introducing combatant number 3. He weighs in at 191 pounds, wrestling out of downtown Toronto, Ontario, Canada. He is the Alternative Ashley Sixx.
What an inspirational story on young Ashley Sixx. Stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. kept Ashley out of the ring for a year and a half. But Ashley kicked cancer's butt. Can he defeat the field of Super Indy entrants in the same way he's beaten long odds before? He beat Ethan Wright to qualify for this stage. All the pressure's on in this comeback story.
And introducing our final combatant. He weighs in at 195 pounds, wrestling out of Morgantown, West Virginia, Joseph Brooks!
The Riot, the Ruckus, and the Rock of Team Big League and IWC. And apparently a man that knows a great faulty confetti cannon emporium because he doesn't have much luck with his entrances.
I hope he didn't pay a lot for it.
Joseph Brooks has had a lot of issues with his former tag team championship partner, Jimmy Nuts. As part of Nuts' war with Team Big League, it's Nuts and John McChesney non-sanctioned later tonight, but Brooks is not doing John McChesney's bidding. He's in a role that McChesney was in quite regularly some years ago.
Very true. John McChesney made his name here going through the Super Indy tournaments.
That was back at Super Indy 4 when McChesney beat CM Punk, Glenn Spector, and Low-Key in one night. I'll never forget the look of McChesney's chest after that series. It was about 8 or 10 different shades of red and purple, but McChesney persevered, and that led to the success he sees today. Will one of these men follow a similar path?
Oh! We can tell who has business on their minds and who wants to make friends.
Yeah, not about friendships, to say the least. Ooh. Our field will reach 10 before Super Indy 13 officially begins. 9 are in the brackets currently. Single elimination tournament style, the finals will be a 3-way elimination contest, as has been Super Indy tradition for about the past 4 to 5 years. Rapid mid-ring exchange sends Idol to the outside, and it's Facade who has more motivation than perhaps anybody else in this matchup because of Facade being shafted by reigning champion RJ City a number of times.
Also, you know that Facade already has the taste for the Super Indy title. Once you've touched it, you want to touch it again.
Facade is a 3-time Super Indy champion. Let's watch Brooks. Baseball slide thwarted.
Oh!
And Brooks proven to be the odd man out as he eats 3 super kicks for his trouble.
And there's 2.
War of attrition knocking out the bodies. Idol down, it's down to Facade and Sixx. Perhaps both considered inspirational favorites. Facade has held the Super Indy title 3 times before. Only one man, I believe, has held it more, that being John McChesney at 4. I believe Hentai is tied with 3 as well. Stutter step center ring, Ashley Sixx on the upper hand. Facade was Super Indy champion until October of last year in his latest reign. He was defeated by TNA's broman, Zema Ion. And what a comeback story this would be for Sixx.
Sixx just taking pause there. Facade more than willing to give it to him. I don't know that that's the... I don't know that this is any place to show kindness.
Not at all. Respect, sure, but there's a thin line between respect and kindness, to be sure. It's about winning.
And it gets thinner and thinner as this tournament goes on.
Ashley Sixx loves to be self-described as dirty, grungy, alternative. As Brooks trips up Facade on the springboard, one thing you can add to a descriptor to Ashley Sixx is survivor, and Super Indy is about surviving every year.
Very, very true. The endurance you have to make this tournament work to your advantage is amazing. 3 to 4 matches a night, the last one being a 3-way dance, which just, takes the energy right out of you. You're fighting 2 people at once. Just, you have to have the cardio.
You have to beat 4 on the night in order to make it to the end of the road. If you're in this match, you must survive 6.
Yep, very true.
And as tournaments are apt to do, you don't know who's coming next in the later rounds. You have to prepare for everyone.
You can't really have a game plan. You have to be willing to adapt. To quote Bruce Lee, be like water.
And really, I look at all four of these men, and they're synonymous with something like that. Look at the many different hats they've worn throughout their careers, the many different situations they've been in, and more often than not been successful, oftentimes with championships.
Very true. I mean, if you want to talk about the ability to survive, we can also talk Justin Idol coming back from a debilitating back injury. Everyone thought he was done, and he decided, no, I still got it in me.
Spinal degeneration. As Brooks rolls up Idol, Idol was on the shelf for over a year, came back and shook a lot of controversy up when he joined the Founding Fathers. Thankfully, Gregory and Vegas not ringside with Idol now. Vegas a big title shot against IWC champion Dalton Castle in one of our features this evening. And it's Idol who's such an adept striker, especially with his knees and kicks, able to take down Brooks. Facade in his wheelhouse near the ropes, however. Gonna go springboard, sunset flip, and Idol rolls through with the knee. Both men playing to their strengths. Idol wins out.
Spin kick to the gut by Sixx.
And Sixx eats a knee for his troubles as well. Sixx recently profiled by MTV Canada, sharing his inspirational story online.
Oh! Vicious elbow. Just a backswing elbow.
And keep in mind, Jayworth, the history of Justin Idol. He made it to the very final of the largest tournament in Super Indy history. I believe that was Super Indy XIII.
5 minutes gone by this contest. 5
submission holds.
Sixx with a half crowd. Facade a modified STF. If both on the defensive tap, who's the victor? Sixx and Facade spitting at one another, but it won't break a hole. Look at the torque on Brooks' lower back. The bend on Idol's knee, which has also given him problems over the years.
Oh, so much for friendship.
And so tough to pick a favorite in this exchange.
Well, right now, I'd have to say my favorite's Facade, being that he's winning it.
Facade is so driven. He won it for a moment, but Sixx reverses the tide, and down to Idol for good measure.
I gotta say, Sixx having 360-degree vision, he's not only concentrating on his enemy, he's concentrating on who could be his enemy. Do we have a pen?
Could have it. It's one fall here in the last chance round, and Sixx is amazed that didn't get the job done, but the resolve of Facade is never to be underestimated.
And the crowd firmly behind Sixx.
This event has been Facade's playhouse for so many years. Facade's first Super Indy was that same year Idol went to the finals. Facade in non-tournament action won tag team gold here with Johnny Gargano. That was back at Super Indy XIII. And that was in a gauntlet fashion, somewhat similar to what we're enduring tonight.
Very true. Oh, Sixx throwing a couple of shots into the ribs. Oh, and Facade with a huge kick.
And Brooks
picking his spot. I saw him waiting. Oh, Facade reverse. Oh no! Arashikage!
Brooks is down, and the opportunist about to get pinned. Facade rounds out the field of 10.
Super Indy XIII,
He's the personification of what Super Indy has meant. 3 championships in under 4 years. But he must overcome an entire field in less than 3 hours.
Yeah, he just wrestled a match to wrestle more matches. While I don't doubt his heart at all, you have to wonder if he's going to be able to get through all of this.
Especially with the task at hand. Chris Sabin, Super Indy 3 winner. He got the winner's bye, the championship bye. And we've just learned his opponent. It's Facade and Sabin. Later tonight, as we're moments away from the official kickoff to the Destiny of Dreams, it's IWC's 13th annual Super Indy tournament.
Let's hear it one more time for our last chance partner, the Neon Ninja, the Aerosol Assassin, Facade! And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring to the ring your remaining participants in Super Indy XIII! Super Indy XIII. You guys can just kneel down or stand behind here. Let's get everybody in here let's get here one more time for our field for Super Indy XIII.
Wrestling is dead, entertainment lives, and his name is RJ Sixx.
You know what this belt said when it came into my arms? It said, RJ City, thank you.
Now that's entertainment.
Picture
your indie-loving asses out of the ring. I got business to do. I have a 12-year-old curse to break. Please, it's gonna be a long show. Come on, let's go. Come on. Hey there, Chris. Hail Sabin, big fan. Come on, get out of here. Huh? Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, very nice. Well, very impressed. Big fan. Oh. Maple Leaf Syrup, good to see you. Huh? Sammy Guevara, nice sneakers. Matt Taven, nice weave.
What is wrong with that cardboard cutout?
Ethan Page, come on. Come on.
RJ Shitty! RJ Shitty!
You dreadlock douchebag.
Ladies and gentlemen, this will be our first opening round matchup in the Super Indy XIII tournament. Your referee in charge of the action, Mr. Jake Clemens. Introducing first in the corner to my right, he weighs in at 195 pounds, wrestling out of the skies above Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Andrew
And his opponent in the corner to my left. I'll take it from here. If you want to cheer for this goggle goof, you're in for a long night. Because I am the man who put the entertainment back in sports entertainment. And your reigning, defending, now and forever, sports entertainment champion, RJ
Quite conspicuously, RJ City was missing from the opening photo op with all of the Super Indy contenders. RJ with his own entrance and his own proclamation that this is not Super Indy 13, it is Sports Entertainment 1.
I had heard that he didn't want to do the photo because it was going to be in color.
Well, you want to talk about colorful personalities, easy for me to say. That's Andrew Palace of the STD, Sexy Talented Dudes. And this is a career maker, potentially, for Andrew Palace as City from behind.
Rule number one, you do not turn your back.
RJ City embodies everything that Super Indy is against. Super Indy is about honor, respect, athleticism, pushing your body beyond its normal limits, and competing with the heart of a champion. RJ City is about shortcuts, about cheating, about low tactics, about singing, entertaining, and getting through a match with as little physical exertion as possible.
In other words, RJ City is about results.
He's about...
He gets an ass every 18 inches. He gets people cheering. He gives people their money's worth.
Oh, hello. RJ tries to take the easy way out. There will be no easy way to the end of this field. Andrew Palace defeated Matt Stryker this past December at Winner Take All to qualify for Super Indy, unequivocally, Jay Worth, the biggest win of this young man's career.
Absolutely. Well, so far, we could see some pretty big wins tonight. He may be on his way to the Super Indy or Sports Entertainment title.
Oh, please. Palace had some ego issues in the months following, went on a losing streak because, well, his head got a little bit too big for his shoulders to carry. Palace dropped matches months in a row until finally pinning Marshall the Bull at the end of a gauntlet match last month. And a pin over Marshall the Bull is enough to erase a lot of bad luck because very few have done that.
Very, very true. Not too many people hold a win over Marshall the Bull Gambino.
Can Palace ride that momentum? Kick out at 2 as RJ tries to put it away. And we've seen so many men over the years. Jay Worth, you've been on camera with this since Super Indy 4. I've been pleased to be here since Super Indy 2. Every single year, A, it seems like the field gets more and more wide open, and B, we usually see one young man have that breakout performance. Facade, Gori, Shima, on through the years, this could be Palace's year.
Very, very true. A good showing here can make you for years to come.
Backslide. Don't count Palace out. Drives with the legs for 2. And it's RJ back in control. RJ went online. And there's a cover. 2 and no. Called our tradition. The basis of IWC, the tale of the Super Indy curse. And said he would break that curse here tonight by being the only man in IWC history to walk into Super Indy as champion and leave as champion. A select few have come close. No one has accomplished it. If RJ City, the antithesis of Super Indy, can, for lack of a better term, out Super Indy everyone else, there'll be a lot of egg on the face of a lot of very focused athletes who have trained diligently to be here.
As there should be. If you get beat, you get beat. There's no shame in losing to RJ City. He's a heck of a competitor. And if he gets to the end and does it and breaks that Super Indy curse, then kudos to him.
Most of RJ's victories have had asterisks next to them, thanks to mysterious video walls coming on, or the involvement of his representation, the very antagonizing Justin LaBar at ringside. RJ has not won any matches, Super Indy title or otherwise, in a fair Super Indy-like competitive spirit.
Fair as a bear and Super Indy spirit are both very subjective terms, Joe. Why don't you try just sticking to reporting to what's going on?
Well, I think
as opposed to interjecting what you think should be happening.
I think if you go to Sorgatron Media and check out the previous 12 Super Indies on DVD or digital, you'll find out what Super Indy's been built on, dating back to Super Hentai in the Monroeville Sports Center in 2002.
Well, if you wanted to do that, where would you go to find out about Sorgatron Media and all of their fine DVDs?
Well, it's all linked at our website at IWCWrestling.com.
Very good. Justin LaBar not looking happy as Andrew Palace just running roughshod over RJ City at the moment.
RJ messed with the goggles, and that's something you just don't do.
Don't do that.
And we're seeing a fire in Palace we haven't before. And what about this crowd response?
The crowd loves Andrew Palace.
Do they love Andrew Palace, or do they just dislike RJ City that much?
I don't know. It seems like a little of column A, a little of column B.
The good night, everybody sleeper. RJ's won matches before, but it won't be at this juncture. Back suplex counter. And 5 minutes deep in what will be a long but very enjoyable night sees Palace with a baseball slide. Elevated style, and RJ City is dazed.
Does that get him 3?
Near fall. Jay Worth, remember the beating of Zima Ion, of Jason Gorey, Super Indy 4, thanks to Homicide and Loki. The pain that Facade had to endure his first Super Indy. Aiden Vale, his first Super Indy. We could be watching Andrew Palace's coming of age. He's not getting beaten upon. He's dishing out the offense. Pump handle driver. Palace hooks the leg. Upset. Champ out first. No.
He didn't have the leg up quite high enough. It was a good attempt. RJ, however, able to muster out of a little push to get himself up and out of that pinning predicament.
In all the years of Super Indy, we've never seen the champion eliminated first. Imagine the RJ City camp if that happens in this match.
It will not be pretty.
Backslide, wait, feet on the roll, Tay!
RJ City picks up the victory and is swift to get out of dodge.
RJ City digs deep into that bag of tricks. Super Indy's not about illegal leverage. Andrew Palace's big night ruined by RJ City's same old tricks. It's RJ, second round, to meet the winner of the following bout.
Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Porter here standing next to a man that just tonight qualified for the Super Indy tournament, Facade. Now, Facade, you're looking to make history here tonight, but there's another man, a man who just beat Andrew Palace, who seems to think that tonight is all about him.
Yo, Plumber, I'm gonna be the first guy ever to walk into this, not even in the tournament, to go in through six guys, go all the way, take it to the top, first person to ever repeat. And you know, RJ City wants to dispute and besmirch this title. What? Besmirch it. Besmirch it, bro.
Hey, that was good, man. Look, hey. I don't want to talk too much because I do my talking in the ring, as all these people know. But see, the thing is, I was the third person to win the Super Indy tournament. And well, technically I never really lost it. So I think it's really cute that you want to be the first person to repeat it. RJ City wants to be the first person to repeat it, but neither of you are going to. Why? Because neither one of you are Chris Sabin. So before it's all over, before it's all said and done, you, RJ City, the rest of the competitors in this tournament will hail Sabin.
He weighs in at 212 pounds, was out of Boston, Massachusetts. He is a former Ring of Honor television champion,
Matt Taven earned his way into the Super Indy tournament as a result of a great performance at Night of Superstars when Taven challenged IWC champion Dalton Castle. Taven, a former Ring of Honor television champion, the longest reigning ever, no stranger to gold, looking to add to that trophy case.
And his opponent, he weighs in at 62 kilos, wrestling out of Mexico City, Mexico,
An individual we've seen in and out of IWC for many years. Lowrider is 21 years of age and perhaps the most unstable and unpredictable member of the field of 10. Will that help or hinder him in an atmosphere such as this?
Well, I gotta tell you, he's my personal favorite as far as the entrance so far, and I'm gonna go ahead and say my pick for Super Indy.
Doesn't surprise me. You two seem to have a lot in common.
What do you mean?
Well, I understand Lowrider has his share of personal demons, lives life on the wild side.
Personal demonless.
Apparently his music turns off and on its own.
Well, that's one of his powers. Kane can do fire. The Undertaker can summon lightning. He deals with the army.
Lowrider can summon war.
Yeah.
Matt Taven won the Ring of Honor Television Championship. Obviously, after becoming #1 contender. How did he become the #1 contender? He became Ring of Honor's top prospect for 2012, and the way he did that was he won a single elimination tournament. Matt Taven has experience in this environment.
Very true. Matt Taven knows what he's looking at least as far as what's involved in a tournament such as this.
Meanwhile, what might be the theme of the night, Jay, we're talking about survivors. Lowrider is a survivor himself, a man that left home at age 16 to move to Mexico City to train with Super Crazy. He's been on his own ever since. Shoulders are down. He's been a product of the very difficult and tough streets in Mexico and southern Texas. He has competed throughout Mexico, the United States, as well as Puerto Rico. And throughout that way, he has done what he's had to do to live life, a very hard life, a very tough life. He's not a role model. He has some demons. They've gotten him this far in spite of them.
If the demons are fueling you, then by all means, don't just the demons.
Well, I think the demons may be numbing the pain more than anything and maybe put him in an altered state of mind. We've seen some of that in Super Indies prior as well.
Yeah, once or twice.
Springboard crossbody, Taven shoulders trap for 2. I know Lowrider's your sentimental favorite, but do you have someone you give the advantage to in this matchup on paper?
Well, you know, the randomness of Lowrider, I think, gives him an advantage in this.
Speaking of, you ever seen him to get into the ring that way?
No.
Get into
No,
the face buster. Unbelievable.
How do you plan against something like that, Joe? That's why I think he has the advantage. Your fault.
Lowrider has a variation of an ace crusher from the third rope. He calls that the acid trip. He has a variation of the 450 splash he calls the 420 splash. I will not read into that any further about some of his personal demons.
He doesn't quite get around the whole way around with it.
I don't believe that's geometry. But either way, Taven able to solve the mathematical equation of Lowrider.
Yeah, well, all else fails, kick him in the face.
X equals super kick.
And Taven is giving him time to recover. That might be a big mistake.
I think Taven is recovering in his own right from what he's seen from Lowrider.
Oh, possibly, but you have to stay on him.
Lowrider is an individual that has competed for Bill Behrens in Georgia, NWA Anarchy. CZW as well. Taven very well traveled in his own right and gets a near fall. What I love about Lowrider is his drive and his passion. There are no miles too many if there's an opportunity waiting at the end.
That pin, Taven was trying to get the leg up, and Lowrider, small and quick, just immediately shifted his weight and was able to get out pretty easily.
Men like Delirious, Chris Sabin, Larry Sweeney, Jerry Lynn were not regular members of this roster until they won Super Indy. Lowrider could add his name to that list tonight.
Very true.
So could Taven and a number of others. My personal favorite, still to come.
Doesn't he won't tell us until later, or they're wrestling later?
Both. That story will be told as Lowrider connects with the acid trip. And there's a near fall. And it's Taven countering. Great recovery. That's a Taven specialty. And Taven gonna follow through. Is it a mistake? Taven didn't go for the cover. Huge frog splash. Amazing elevation. That's gonna seal it up.
The thing about Lowrider is he's quick and unpredictable. But when you're that small, that much force is going to have an impact.
Matt Taven no longer following Truth Martini. And here in IWC, it seems to be paying off. It's Taven. He'll have the chance to break RJ City's momentum in the semifinal round. And that's what it's about, Jay Worth. The respect that comes between the Super Indy athletes.
Well, my pick's already out of the running. I hope yours fares a little better.
Introducing us, he weighs in at 185 pounds, missing out of Windsor, Ontario, Canada. He is a multi-weight muscle, Petey Williams.
He is make-believe muscle. He is the definition of definition. And he's been in and out of IWC for a decade. While Petey Williams has many TNA X Division titles under his belt, never has he held the Super Indy prize. Petey could break that cold streak tonight.
This could be the night for Little Papa Pump. Still in excellent physical condition.
A man that goes to the gym religiously. And very few men combine that kind of power with the kind of speed and agility Petey brings, evidenced by that amazing Canadian Destroyer signature maneuver.
Was just gonna say.
If he hits it, it's almost a guarantee to the second round.
And his opponent, he weighs in at 180 pounds, wrestling out of Houston, Texas. He is the first ever Sammy Guevara!
This man could be the dark horse that comes in and surprises everybody. Sammy Guevara made his IWC debut this past July. I believe he was 19 years old. He'd be 20 now. Sammy Guevara took Facade, then Super Indy champion, to his absolute limit in a matchup that was one of the finalists for Match of the Year. The crowd was left on their feet.
Well, let's see how he fares tonight.
Sammy is in great physical shape, but still only a few years in the business. Other than Andrew Palace, Sammy would be the least experienced in the field. Petey among the most. Petey trained by Scott D'Amore in the Can-Am Wrestling Academy in Petey's home of Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
And apparently they don't have handshakes in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Petey looked downright confused that Sammy was looking for a handshake there, popped him in the face with the elbow.
Quick roll-up for a count of two. Petey graduated from St. Clair College in Windsor some years ago. He's an educated man. He knows what he's doing. Sammy doesn't know strategy. He's full throttle in your face with athleticism second to none.
Up and down quick with those leg drops.
And an amazingly well-conditioned athlete. Pound for pound, Sammy may be the most in-shape athlete in the field, possible exception to Petey.
So then it's good we let these two match off in the first round, find out who's the best of the best of the
Very competitive draw.
Oh.
Sammy calls himself the best ever. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's brash, as young kids who experience success often are. There's a cover by Petey for one. This is not Petey's first Super Indy tournament. Super Indy 5, Petey went one-on-one with Matt Sydal, who went on to be achieving success in WWE as Evan Bourne. Bourne won that matchup, but slightly. And now time for some patriotism. Not from you.
I show respect to our brothers from the North. They're America's hat.
Well, will Petey put a feather in that hat called Super Indy?
Look at you with this segue. Speaking of which, big ups to Anthony Kingdom James. We miss you, brother.
Big ups for what? Being Canadian?
Yeah, it's not easy.
Not for him, at least.
Well, ask any Canadian the miserable existence that they live.
And here's a Canadian Maple Leaf, one-legged Boston Crab, into an STF. Shades of Lance Storm a moment ago, another great Canadian athlete.
And now into a crossface, into the rings of Saturn.
Notice every time Sammy releases an appendage to get to the rope, Petey will trap it.
Well, and he finally gets to the ropes, and you can see Petey was looking to grab that leg into some other twisted, hellacious maneuver.
Petey spent over a decade battling the best. Sammy will have to surprise Petey, will have to catch him off guard. He won't outsmart him. And Petey, who has waited 8 years to get back into this tournament, certainly with something to prove.
And a good back elbow. No, he...
And Petey gonna roll with the suplexes. Back suplex time.
Just chaining suplexes together. I'm not sure if Sammy's used to this level of aggression all at once.
Not at all. 2 and no. Sammy loves it when you play his game, high flyer for high flyer, because Sammy rarely loses. Petey has grounded Sammy. Sammy's out of his comfort zone. This is not where you want to be, especially traveling so many miles from Houston. In order for this, well, check this out. Sammy tried to do a squat with Petey on his shoulders. Petey countered. I think Sammy was trying to go to Petey's game of power. It didn't pay off.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was trying to maybe reposition him or if he was just showing off. I'm not sure.
Well, he calls himself the best ever. He loves to show off.
Well, who doesn't? I mean, when you are the best ever at something, why not?
I don't think that's been proven. That's why we're here at the tournament.
Well, I mean, I'm the best ever, so
At
I'm just
what?
speaking from experience. At whatever you bring to the
crocheting?
table, if need be. Hand me 2 needles and I will impress you.
Shoulder down twice, arm I should say. If it drops a third time, Petey wins via submission. But that won't happen. Sammy, much like Lowrider, has traveled the roads of the United States and Mexico. He'll sleep in cars, he'll sleep outside bus stations, whatever it takes to find a career advancement opportunity.
It looked like Sammy was trying to go for a sleeper there, and Petey quickly moved where he was and transitioned into a headlock, but still better than being in a sleeper.
Sammy attempts to turn the tide with the enziguri kick. Sammy's had a rivalry down in his home state of Texas with another Super Indy alumnus, ACH. Meanwhile, Petey Williams, a month ago in Canada, in an explosive tag team matchup against former Super Indy finalist Alex Shelley and his New Japan partner Kushida. These men have faced the best in recent times. It's only prepared them for what's to come tonight.
Good clothesline.
And now, Sammy gonna give you the squats.
There's the squats.
Deceptive power by Sammy. There's a cover, and Petey squeaks out.
5 minutes gone by in this contest. 5 minutes.
Sammy's built very slender, but he's got a lot of muscle on that frame, and a lot of times you can overlook that.
I want to say that pin, it looked like Petey was awake. He was just taking advantage of the 3 count, expecting he'd be able to get out. I don't know that I would second guess Sammy so quickly.
Especially in their first meeting. And there's a cover for 2 on the crucifix pin. And notice how Petey seamlessly goes from one maneuver to the next. Into the face buster, another cover. And certainly in a night of endurance, you know as well as I do from following this great sport, just to kick out of a fall will take some energy out of you.
And frankly, I want to point out Petey going for the pin after chaining everything together.
And now going for the Canadian Destroyer. Petey signals, and Jay Worth, I think it's time to reel in the prospective prey. Sammy sees it coming. He's followed Petey's career for a decade. Twisting suplex, nicely done. Petey's offense thwarted. Can Sammy get an upset? No. Could it be Sammy's night to impress the world?
Well, if you beat Petey Williams, I'd say that'd definitely be impressive. That's a big if.
Huge if. And
gigantic if.
Doesn't get easier from there, as we've documented. They only get hungrier as the tournament moves on. As both men exchange forearms and elbows, out-quickening the other.
Whoa.
Sammy met Petey with a boot, but Petey with a side kick of his own. And it's Petey with the powerbomb roll through. Canadian Destroyer! No. Counter into the sharpshooter. Shades of another great Canadian. Petey's low center of gravity makes the pain that much more unbearable. Look at how low to the ground Petey is.
Oh, and he grabbed the arm. He was trying to get to the ropes. And he grabbed Sammy's arm. Oh, he got there.
And no space between Petey's rear end and Sammy's lower back. All that pressure on the spine and the knees. Petey milked that 5 count in the ropes. Petey got all he could out of that sharpshooter, and you can see the effects it led to.
Petey knows what he can get out of it, and he knows just how long he can take advantage of it. A veteran move by the veteran.
Sammy counters.
Oh.
And over, nicely done. Slice bread number 2 variation, got 2 and no.
I don't know that he should have changed his grip on the pin there. It looked like he was worried about it and tried to shift his weight, and I think that gave Petey the chance to get his shoulders up.
Sometimes it's the split-second decisions that make the difference between a win and a loss. Petey, amazing agility. Paddle counter roll. Sammy's shoulders are trapped. Stacks him up. No. Referee CJ Sensation, Super Indy alumnus of his own, Super Indy 1. Oh! Calls that beautifully. Petey in with a lung blower. And now Sammy out on his feet. Destroyer time. Countered. Crucifix pin got him, no. Oh! Standing shooting star out of nowhere. Petey had no time to prepare. And that was almost done. That wasn't Petey choosing to kick out late. That was Petey having to.
That's an explosive amount of energy to do that. That was very impressive.
The quickness and the accuracy together is almost unfathomable, but Sammy Guevara is a special athlete. And now from way up high, 450 roll through. Petey, Destroyer. No. And Sammy counters. Petey may be knocked out. Back of the head, and Sammy Guevara's upset Petey Williams.
Beautiful kick. What an opportunity. I said earlier, you never want your back to your opponent. Sammy got behind there and a perfectly placed kick to the back of Petey Williams' head.
When I talked about Sammy having a potential breakthrough performance, I had assumed it would possibly just be a near miss with Petey Williams.
An impressive showing.
A very competitive showing that would plant the seeds for months to come. I did not expect Sammy Guevara to pin a former World Tag Team and X Division champion. And I don't think Petey did either. Petey's expression tells the story, but again, begrudgingly showing respect is still respect.
You can tell Petey's not happy that he lost, but he still knows what's right. And he gave Sammy the due he deserves.
Sammy Guevara moves on to the second round. Sammy can change some opinions and make some headlines here at Super Indy 13. Some call it a God complex. To Ethan Page, it's just everyday life. Ethan Page's belief is that everybody's universe should revolve around him. Ethan feels so highly of himself, he won't even let himself be pictured on the IWC promotional flyers unless he is paid extra for his appearance on them.
Well, it's smart. Well, why give away what you can make money on?
As a result, he is not pictured on the posters. Instead, a symbol with the hashtag AllEgo appears in its place. Ethan is Canadian-born to those unaware, and we do have some nationalists here tonight expressing their favoritism of our U.S.-born competitors. And a few U.S.-born competitors not here.
Much love and respect to all of the U.S.-born competitors not
here.
We talked earlier about someone who I felt was my personal pick to turn a lot of heads and go very far, if not all the way.
I didn't think you liked AllEgo Ethan Page.
I'm not speaking of Ethan Page. I'm talking about Louis Lyndon, who's been in and out of IWC for a number of years, but never really got the traction he's needed to. Lyndon, for my money, and my opinion will stay as such, win, lose, or draw here. Louis Lyndon, the most underrated athlete in independent wrestling right now.
Oh, I think he's great. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about Louis Lyndon. It's just he's in the ring with AllEgo Ethan Page.
And that certainly is a daunting task.
There's ego comes after action. You do something and then you realize how good you are at it. There's a reason Ethan Page has this ego. It's because of what he can do in the ring.
But as Ethan Page competed and defeated a field like this, he's won tournaments before, but none with quite the pedigree and history behind Super Indy.
Very true. Oh, hold on. I thought we were going to do the national anthem. I'm sorry.
No, that's another time.
I just racially insulted you and you want to shit.
Lewis looking for the Super Indy respect factor. Ethan not interested. Lewis is a master of capoeira, which is a Brazilian martial art that combines strikes with rhythmic dancing, which helps control your bodily movement and control.
Very true.
Case in point, center ring.
That was more of a mule kick than a capoeira move.
But I would say the balance is something he learned from a capoeira-like style.
Possibly. Or from the mule. Don't discount our fine American mules.
How are they compared to the Canadian mules?
I don't know that there are Canadian mules. Anyway, good armbar.
Just a mule with moose antlers? Go behind by Lyndon, center of the ring. Lyndon's been in and out as part of Arrow form with his tag team with Flip Kendrick. We last saw them at Retro Reunion last October. But they've never been able to break through that imaginary glass ceiling as far as being regularly featured, even though they regularly compete for numerous top promotions across this half of the country. And you hear that martial arts style.
You hear Bruce Lee is what you hear.
Yeah, that screaming, I guess you'd call, for lack of a better term.
It's more of a channeling of your chi.
Okay.
It's an expression of you moving energy through your body.
Lyndon competed in Super Indy IX back in 2010. He didn't last past the first round thanks to the challenge of the luchadorable one, Frightmare.
Oh! Solid kick right to the mommy-daddy button.
And Ethan Page looking for a reprieve. Lyndon, certainly no stranger to battling on the outside.
Oh, in the VIP section, getting up close with it.
Yeah, we should mention as we'll pause for a minute and watch Lyndon now, as Lyndon is dangerous anywhere, including it near those guardrails to the springboard. And Lewis planning something devastating. Looks out for the safety of everyone, and it's good. Oh, Lewis lands on his feet, but right into the pump kick. And Ethan Page shuts down Lyndon in a heartbeat.
Wow, he ran out full steam right into that kick. I swear I saw Lyndon's eyes roll into the back of his head when that connected.
This won't do any better. Walking with Lyndon, suplex.
Oh, hardest part of the ring, Joe.
Metal meets wood, there's no give. Lyndon felt the brunt of it, covering the ring too. And that's all Ethan Page will get. Was going to mention that the VIP section is open for business. Joe Rosa is here. We saw him make his presence known at the Road to Super Indy 13. Had a very heated confrontation with the founding fathers. Not really sure what all that was about. Would love to have been a fly on the VIP section at that point in time. But Joe Rosa has purchased a section, sublet if you will, the Court Time Sports Center, to make that his own personal party with drinks, with nice-looking women, and apparently making it all about him. What is so special about Joe Rosa that he can't enjoy this event like a normal person?
Well, once you get used to the VIP lifestyle, nothing else really works. It's like skiing. Once you've learned how to sharpen your skis, you can't ski on a dull ski.
Sitting in the VIP section is like skiing.
Yes. I'm sorry, am I saying this too quickly? Should I go slower for you?
Reversal.
See, skiing is when you put wood on your feet and go down a hill on snow. You following me?
There's a back suplex by Ethan Page, spinning with it, and in trying to power out, he does. How about Ethan Page's debut? I believe it was back at the start of the year at Payback. Ethan Page, as he goes for a cover again, finds two. Picked up the microphone, and for a solid 3 to 5 minutes, these fans would not let Ethan speak a word. They were so loud and drowning out Ethan Page, nobody wanted to hear this guy talk about how great he is.
Or alternately, our fans are kind of rude sometimes.
I don't think it was rude. I don't think it was undeserved. Ethan feels he's superior to everyone here.
Well, he's allowed to say what he thinks. I mean, it's his right to think that. And, no one knew what he was going to say. They might have had an idea.
Cover, 2 and no. Ethan pinned Jay Flash in his debut, beat Facade last month to qualify for Super Indy, and certainly that's no easy feat.
And Ethan Page currently on top of these exchanges. Thank you, Pedro. Lyndon hurt and struggling to get up to his feet as Ethan Page is just putting the boots to him.
And you can see Lewis Lyndon in the corner starting to get some adrenaline moving as Ethan attempts to keep the pace slow. Lewis, with all the leverage against him, muscles Ethan Page over, and could Lewis have created an opportunity? Oh, Lewis gets caught up. Ethan stayed a step ahead.
And now putting the boots to him again.
Ethan, who has popped up on Ring of Honor television lately, I guess it's a Canadian tradition to drive the foot into the groin. No anthem this time, though. Ethan has popped up on Ring of Honor television lately. Lewis Lyndon recently attended a Ring of Honor New Japan seminar in suburban Philadelphia, where he learned from not only the best of Ring of Honor, but also the best of New Japan, Okada, Nakamura, Tanahashi, Geto, and so many others.
A great opportunity for any wrestler.
Among the best wrestling stars anywhere in the Eastern Hemisphere.
And frankly, ROH has some decent talent in their roster as well.
Absolutely. Some very famous trainers such as Delirious and Truth Martini who have turned out some of the best. Roll through by Lewis on the slam. Again, that body control, that weight management. Capoeira coming into play. Lewis with the side kicks. It's all Lyndon right now.
Placed him and planted him. Oh!
Sherman, beautiful bridge, tippy toes. When you get up on the tips of your toes for that bridge, it gives you just that much more leverage, that much more momentum on your side. It could be a big difference between a 3 count and a near fall.
Very true. It's how a proper bridge should be done.
You've seen men like Lyndon and Facade do that over the years to perfection. That comes with a great base, a great neck strength as well.
Very true.
O'Connor roll countered. Oh, check out that counter. Can you believe how seamless that was?
He backflipped and then just sort of rolled through it, but the wrong way, but it still worked.
Oh, watch Lewis!
Oh! Speaking of backflip the wrong way, wow! Outside the ring.
Springboard moonsault connects flush. And can Lewis put the finishing touches on from here? We have a cover. Hook in the leg and no! Ethan Page, I'm sure one of your sentimental favorites, still alive.
Nice forearm into the corner.
Ethan Page also has said, well, let's follow this. Lyndon going high risk. Well, Ethan, handful of tights.
I'm not sure where he was trying to throw him. It looked like he was trying to throw him out and then back in, and he just couldn't get it.
Either way, Lewis hang on to the boots and almost an inverted reverse variation of that spinning Dwayne that Page likes to put guys away with. In with a cutter, all the momentum on his side is Ethan. Number 2, and Ethan Page with the victory.
Here's your winner on to the semifinals, All Ego, Ethan Page.
Well, we're both over, what is it, over 12 on this now. We have not picked your picks out, my picks out. Ethan Page is moving on in the tournament, Joe.
And that's the great thing about Super Indy. Anything can happen. It's so tough to call. Ethan Page beat one of the best. He may not be a household name, Lewis Lyndon, but I think he will be soon. And certainly Ethan Page may be one by the end of the night. Ethan beat Facade once before. Maybe they'll cross paths again later on as Super Indy 13 continues.
Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Plummer here with Jimmy Nuts. And Jimmy, I've been running around here all night. I have somebody looking out for John McChesney. As I reported earlier, he wasn't here. Unfortunately, John McChesney is still not in the building.
I don't know if you think I should be surprised that John
Interrupt. He's here.
Where's John McChesney?
The dark side wants to know.
We are following Jimmy Nuts outside. John McChesney has just arrived. McChesney's just arrived, and this unsanctioned battle has begun. There are no rules. There's no way to stop this. And this is exactly what Jimmy Nuts wanted. I'm not sure about McChesney. Everything Jimmy Nuts has ever wanted to show John McChesney what he's really made of is right now.
I hate to say it, but I think the advantage has to go to John McChesney on this one. Well, at least it did until he took a chair to the back. But
Why would you say that?
if anyone knows dirty, down, underhanded fighting, it's John McChesney. Oh.
But Jimmy Nuts sat under that McChesney learning tree for many months.
Oh, sure. Many months. John McChesney's done it his whole life.
Oh, Jimmy Nuts could have a cracked larynx. The throat of Nuts cracked across the edge of that plastic chair. And this, I know we had advertised and prepared for an unsanctioned matchup, but this is even beyond my expectations.
Oh.
It's dress how you want, come as you are. Nuts was kicked out of Team Big League in December because McChesney blamed Jimmy Nuts for all of McChesney's problems.
Not the merch.
Oh.
Not the merch, Stan!
Back by the merchandise area. A lot of innocent victims potentially back there. McChesney just bent a solid wooden and metal table reinforced. Those tables are designed to withstand anything.
A good solid punch to the jaw. That's the thing. There is no double entendre with a punch. You know what someone means when they sock you in the face.
McChesney collides using the barriers here, excuse me, the bleachers I should say, as an offensive weapon.
Hey, John, it's Saturday!
Jay, I assume pinfall or submission will end this, but it may just be when somebody can't fight anymore.
Yeah, it may just be when someone calls it, like a hockey fight. Eventually, they wear out and you can break them up.
I mean, I saw at least one referee out here who you got to believe is protecting the people as much as he is calling the action.
Yeah, we do have a ref following, so.
It's Saturday! Is that why you're waiting to know what day
And now we are in the ring. Oh!
And I guess this match has officially started. Again, unsanctioned means there are no rules, and IWC is not liable for any damage done to these competitors or their surroundings. McChesney with some insult and injury with someone's shoe. Is it his own? I'm not even sure.
I think. He's not wearing them. Oh!
Now step on the foot. Good call, Jay Work. And Jimmy Nuts gives McChesney a piece of his own medicine.
Oh!
Would you quit it with that stupid face, Nuts? Hey!
And Jimmy Nuts turned his back for a moment to acknowledge one of his fans, and it was all the veteran John McChesney needed.
I don't know that was a fan, Joe.
Either or, the damage was done.
Good point.
John McChesney. Okay, that could have been worse.
Yeah, I was about to let a Sorgatron know he needed the blue dot.
And McChesney had a means to an end there, wanted to elevate himself, wanted that flexibility. Nicely done.
It was an actual wrestling type move. I don't think we'll see a lot of those in this matchup.
Keep in mind when it comes to cumulative days in IWC's history, which goes back over 13 years, no one has held the IWC title longer than John McChesney. 2 separate reigns that span for approximately 2 years total.
Impressive. It shows you that he knows what he's doing.
John, make him wear the pants!
He understands what he has to do.
And McChesney is strangling Jimmy Nuts and taking him back to the tech area
with his jeans.
And now we're backstage again.
And he's maintaining the pressure on that, just dragging him around. They're into the back.
Other wrestlers are confused by what's going on right now. They're invading the locker room.
Ethan Page not happy.
We're scrambling to get cameras in position here. We apologize.
I see a door.
Yeah, and here they come. Great wherewithal for our Sorgatron team to get a camera in position as Nuts and McChesney battle about 15 feet above us
and
all.
it looks like Nuts has the jeans wrapped around McChesney. They just passed
no. No. Come on now. This is a completely uncalled for.
He's just going to dump him to the floor.
Now this is going too far.
Right above Justin is my guess.
I understand the animosity, but we got to stop this. Livelihood is at stake here.
Call the police!
My God.
Jawbreaker.
This is dangerous.
Into the wall.
This is very dangerous.
Oh,
look out!
God. He caught himself. He's over the rail. Where are they?
They're right above
They're by the entry.
No. He's teetering.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Can we just call the match? Can we just say Jimmy Nuts won this match? Someone needs to check on McChesney.
These fans can be happy about it all they want, but I don't like this a damn bit. This is not how we wanted to see this end. We wanted to see 2 men settle this hand to hand.
He's dead.
We did not want to see. We didn't want to see it end like that. And we need help out here.
What's wrong?
Can we turn on? Can we get a shot of this?
I don't think we want to have a shot of this.
Can we get some light on it to get a shot of this?
Well, I mean, there's not much to see.
This man has a wife at home. He's broken in half.
That entranceway, those are wood and metal beams
And
under
there's
it.
not even a lot of wood there. It is mostly metal beams with wood just so you have a place to walk.
Yeah, it's a platform more than anything.
Yeah.
And you know, we've seen that assembled and disassembled many times. It's heavy equipment.
I've helped put it together. I've helped tear it down. It's heavy. It's solid. It is not something you want to fall into, especially from that height.
Get the DA out here. Get a body bag.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go to intermission at this time. While we take care of this things backstage, we're gonna take a brief intermission right now. Can we get the house lights up?
J-Roth, let's try to regroup from that shocking turn of events we just saw. Refocus, because this is about Super Indy continuing as we're entering the next round.
He is the Neon Ninja, the Aerosol Assassin, the Dreadlock Daredevil, Facade!
I know that the doctors were attending to John McChesney. I haven't heard anything, and I don't want to go back. I don't want to be in the way of what's happening.
Obviously, John, not always the most popular guy here in our events, but we never want to see anybody falling with a serious injury, least of all one of that potential magnitude. And we hope that Mr. McChesney will be able to come back and compete again in the near future. But speaking of competition, Facade has competition coursing through his veins every waking hour of the day. And Facade has faced some of Super Indy's best, past and present. But he's never faced this man before. A fellow former tournament winner.
Detroit, Michigan, here is Chris Sabin!
Chris Sabin was victorious at Super Indy XIII in 2004. Glenn Spector, CM Punk, and finally Alex Shelley were forced to hail Sabin before it was all said and done. And some interesting circumstances surrounding Sabin in that Super Indy title reign we'll talk about in a moment. Let's also point out Sabin has only been a free agent from his previous wrestling employer for 1 month. But he's already back into the fire, already back into the top competition one can find. The day Sabin was a free agent, he was in Windsor, Canada, facing arguably Japan's top star right now, Okada. This will be no easier. It will be longer and more grueling, and certainly harder to prepare for.
I would say the key advantage he has right now is this is his first match.
That's respect. We got to point out again, respect. Unless you're Ethan Page or especially RJ City, all these Super Indy athletes have followed the common theme here this evening. And I think it's very, very admirable that we continue to see that even as the competition heightens.
I'll point out Ethan Page did shake his opponent's hand after.
So even Ethan Page, in his brash ways, adhered to the Super Indy tradition. Dare I say code of honor, similar thought process. Sabin held the Super Indy Championship through all of 2004, lost it in December when he was injured, and was not able to defend it. Memorable rivalry back in the day with a young man named John McChesney.
Yes.
Sabin went unbeaten in IWC for 2 full years. A man you may have heard of by the name of Samoa Joe was what was needed to end that streak.
Well, when the machine guns don't work, you pull out the cannon.
And segue to that, Sabin's success as a member of the Motor City Machine Guns with Alex Shelley. We've seen them capture championship gold in the U.S. and Japan, as well as dominate some of IWC's top tag teams in their stays here, most notably Zema Ion and Jason Gorey when they were known as Babyface Fire. Sabin has been near unpenetrable every time he's come into an IWC ring. But let's talk Facade. Facade could be the first man ever. Roll up, shoulders down on Sabin, 2-0. Springboard drop kick, nicely done. Facade winning Super Indy number 12. Facade could be the first man to win back-to-back tournaments. And this springboard didn't connect flush, but certainly did its damage on the way down.
I would say that no one wants it more than Michael Facade. If you're talking about sheer hunger and determination, then Facade is your clear-cut choice. Unfortunately, wanting it isn't enough.
You gotta seize it, you gotta grasp it. Sabin counter.
If wanting it was enough, I'd be married to Kate Upton.
And you cannot underestimate Sabin's footwork as well. Cover and no. Sabin doesn't have the martial arts background of Facade, but dare I say Sabin can match Facade's quickness.
Yeah, the signature of the Motor City Machine Guns was their unbridled speed. They just hit you and continued hitting you. Go right ahead.
I was going to mention, in 13 years, only one man has won 2 tournaments, Super Hentai 1 and 8. And Facade trapped. And I'll have to say that no one has come close to two-peating in back-to-back years. Facade could make Super Indy history and capture his 4th championship, tied for another record.
Yeah, very true. I mean, again, another big if based upon who he's in the ring with.
Also, Facade could be the first man to win Super Indy who was not officially part of the tournament at the start of the night. While RJ City looks to destroy history, Facade looks to make history. And Sabin looks to make Facade history.
You really have a problem with RJ City advancing through this tournament, don't you?
I was just making an observation.
I can hear the bile in your voice about it. You see, let's just put the cards on the table. You're upset that RJ City is still in this tournament.
I'm not surprised, but I'm certainly not happy. I've been here since almost day one for Super Indy. I've watched it grow and evolve. With RJ City, I feel we could regress. Sabin, great float over off of the suplex. Keep in mind the resolve and staying power of Sabin. Not just talking about his Super Indy 3 victory, but talking about injuries. Sabin completely tore apart separate knees in subsequent years. 2 years on the shelf. Came back looking this good. That's almost unfathomable.
The hard part being one knee, and then as he finally gets back and moving, he injured the next one almost right out of the gate. He was not competing very long before that second knee injury happened. And I am correct, it was the same injury, just the other knee.
Correct, I believe so.
That not only takes away your... training aside, that does something to your head. The way you think about yourself, the way you think about... Thank you, Pedro. Your mentality changes when something like that happens, and you have to have the internal strength and fortitude to make it through to the other side.
Sabin now elevating Facade. Much like we talked about earlier with Guevara, Sabin has done a great job taking Facade out of his comfort zone, grounding him to the canvas.
I don't know that I would have set him on the top rope. That's where he is perhaps his most dangerous.
Touche, but I think Sabin's looking to finish this.
Sure. If I know a guy's good with a knife, I'm not going to hand him a sword.
Facade fights his way free. Gonna go high risk. To your point, Jayworth walking the ropes, Facade special! And could be a turning point. Again, to your point, Sabin's first opponent he's had to deal with, Facade's 4th in his second match. That's the perks of winning Super Indy. You don't have to qualify, and certainly you don't have to go through the ringer as some of these unproven talents have. Not that Facade is anything but unproven, just hit some bad luck this year.
Sure, but if I can play devil's advocate, why does Sabin get the bye?
Because he's a former Super Indy winner.
Sure, but
yeah, but Facade didn't qualify.
Sure.
Sabin was an invitee. There's 2 ways to get in.
I would argue that maybe Facade deserved the chance to just be invited.
And I don't think you're out of line in that assumption. But you got to wonder if perhaps Justin LeBar had some manipulation to affect that.
Yeah, possibly.
Sabin, an expert back kick. Facade matrix is up. Connects with footwork of his own.
Sabin with the quickness. Saw what was happening and stayed pace for pace with him.
And Facade goes springboard once again. It's advantage Facade in the kicking game thus far. Over into the cover, and notice Facade left the left side of Chris Sabin exposed.
Bridging over, it looked nice, and it was effective, but in changing your weight like that, it gave Sabin a way to get off the mat.
And it's Facade. Full Nelson. Sabin was able to place his foot behind the calf of Facade to counter the momentum. Going for it a second time. Good Sabin counter, drops down this time. Facade going for it a third time. Turns things around into the neckbreaker and drops Sabin as well. And 2-0.
He had him hooked there. That was pure Sabin muscling out. That was impressive.
You can hear the murmur in this crowd as Facade prepares to go in for the kill on Sabin.
And you can hear the crowd clearly fans of Sabin. Oh, possibly looking for the Arashikage. Counter, knees up.
Yeah, Sabin feeling the effects of that one. But is he laying in wait? Facade walking the ropes. Sabin catches! And check this out.
A Texas Cloverleaf.
Not something I've seen from Sabin often. Will Facade tap away the Super Indy dream? The chance to live forever in history.
He doesn't quite have the weight quite where he needs it. There we go. Now he's got it in.
Oh, much like Petey earlier with the sharpshooter. That low center of balance. Low to the ground. No breathing room for Facade. Bridging upward hurts Facade more. And finally to the rope. Could Facade have survived that if it wasn't for the mentality of all of Super Indy riding on his shoulders?
Yeah, you have to believe there's a special amount of motivation in him tonight. Oh.
My God.
One more time.
And Sabin elevates Facade. Twisting neck breaker, nicely done. That's gonna do it. Sabin on. No.
He didn't have any weight over his shoulder, over his left shoulder. All it took was him to raise his hand. Sloppy pin, that could have been it. Sabin, a veteran of this, should have known better.
That could be some of Sabin's overconfidence coming out. Sabin certainly seemed to be quite full of himself when he interrupted Facade's interview earlier tonight.
Very true. He said it didn't matter who else was in it. He was going to win it.
Kind of rhymed.
Kinda. It did rhyme.
Facade sends Sabin back into the corner. And Sabin has something to meet Facade with. Victory roll. No, Facade carries the momentum through. Facade just pins Sabin. Wow. Super Indy 12 bests Super Indy 3 here at Super Indy 13.
And Facade had the momentum and just kept rolling. Go Ninja, go! He didn't have a spot in the tournament, so he made one. And now, is that it? Is he into the final? Am I correct?
That guarantees Facade a spot in that three-way elimination matchup. And again, Facade staying true to Super Indy, wants the handshake. And how can you not respect Chris Sabin?
Very true. And Sabin, much like Petey Williams, you can tell, angry that he lost, but he gives the respect that's deserved.
Facade has overcome 4. 2 yet remain. We are, as of now, unaware of those names that will be in that bracketing. But could Facade rescue, save the legacy of Super Indy, save it from sports entertainment, and put it back in his hands for the 4th time? We'll find out before the end of the night.
The first ever VIP section in IWC history being made here tonight. Just the VIP. How's it going here? First VIP section. What can you tell us about it so far tonight? How's it going? Wow, listen to this warm, wonderful reception for Mr. VIP. It doesn't seem like they... Hold on, let me listen to it. Let's move on. Hey, I gotta know. Tournament's about halfway done. Mr. VIP, who is gonna be the winner tonight here at Super Indy? I gotta know. What's your prediction? Ooh, good question. You've been practicing your interview skills. Who's gonna win the Super Indy tournament? I don't really know. I don't really care. All I know is after tonight, Jimmy Vegas will be your new IWC World Heavyweight Champion. Back to reality. He's gonna do nothing but step in that ring, get tired, and probably fall over, and Dalton Castle will walk out with another win. And all my people over here are gonna drink with me, party with me, because there's only one way to be. And tonight, and at Proving Ground next month, where I will also be live and in living color, I will be VIP. All right, folks, big predictions from VIP, and as he said, the VIP Lounge will return in White Oak next month, so make sure you... Chuck, part of the deal was unlimited alcohol and more girls. Can you please get on that for me, because I'm a little frustrated the label is peeling on my bottle. Thank you. All right, hey, Pedro, take it away. The following is a semi-final matchup in the Super Indy 13 tournament. Introducing first, he weighs in at 212 pounds. He's from Anacostia, Massachusetts. Here is Luke Taven.
Well, Matt Taven was successful against Lowrider in the opening round, but now, interesting to see that Taven finds himself against an opponent who really kind of similar to where Taven was a year ago. Taven's television championship reign and Ring of Honor led to him being all about sleeves, all about the hoopla that Truth Martini brought to the table. However, this year, 2014, Taven's turned over a new leaf, a serious leaf, arguably better than he's ever been.
Get set, it's all that.
And his opponent, being accompanied to ringside by Justin Lamar. He weighs in at 205 pounds, as seen on Nickelodeon. He is your reigning IWC Super Indy Champion, RJ City.
If you ask RJ City, his Super Indy sports entertainment doctrine is vital information for your everyday life. But which one of these Super Indy athletes will come along to tell him you can't do that on television?
That you're making the assumption that one of them will. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if RJ City just smashes each and every one of them.
The odds do speak in the favor of the challengers. 90% odds say a new champion is crowned tonight.
Well,
on paper, those are indisputable numbers. How it plays out certainly is another story. Taven and RJ actually have a history, from what I understand. My sources have told me these two men were roommates at one point in their wrestling travels. However, I don't believe there's any camaraderie still in existence.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that was not a warm greeting.
And RJ trying to strike Taven with the championship right off a jump street.
Oh, the bell's rung. He doesn't want to do that.
And RJ's bell about to be rung. And that's a great point, Jay, where DQ takes you out of it. I don't think RJ would have minded.
hardly taking a face full of metal to move on in this.
Taven's shown versatility here in IWC in his prior appearance. He broke 2 ribs in his IWC title match with Dalton Castle last April in Meadville. He is 100% now, but that shows you the resolve of Taven because he missed no time, to my knowledge, in his career.
Impressive healing. Ribs, it is tough to keep doing this with a rib injury.
And Taven to the outside. Putting it all on the line. And that, Jay Worth, is what Super Indy's about to me.
That's fine. It can be that. It can have that meaning to you. It's just to RJ, it's to something else.
Well, why doesn't he go compete somewhere else where they agree with him?
Why can't he compete here? If this Super Indy lifestyle and method is so great, it should be able to overcome RJ.
Jayworth, that's like competing in the tag team division and saying that you think there should be 3 partners.
If you can get away with it, by all means. Oh, you've never heard of the Freebird rule?
Freebirds never defended at the same time.
Yes, but there were always 3 partners.
I understand that. But you understand where my metaphor is going.
Yes, do you understand where mine is going?
You can't change the rules of an
it's
established
trial
division.
by combat. Think about it for a sec. If he's wrong, trust me, it'll come out in the wash.
Getting in the face of the official.
Yeah. There's nothing in the rule books that say you can't tell the official what you're thinking.
Well,
hey Joe, I'm kind of hungry for chicken. You want to throw me out now?
And Taven reaching for LeBar, who's getting his shots in as well. I suppose you're going to defend LeBar being out here.
Well, no, only I can only go so far.
I see. And those obnoxious white shoes of his.
Yeah.
And it is summer. He's wearing the leather jacket still. It's June.
To be fair, you find a skin that looks good on you, you keep it on.
A skin that looks good on you. Yeah, LeBar's GQ right now. There's a lateral press. RJ gets 2. As I mentioned earlier, Taven, tournament atmosphere took him to the Ring of Honor television title. He could repeat history. And now RJ, slowing down this pace, spotlight's all on him, Mr. Sports Entertainment.
He is playing the game the way it works for him.
And what is LeBar? Hey! Not sure if we caught that or not, but LeBar just slapped Taven across the face.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Weren't you watching?
No, sorry. I'm thinking about chicken.
Yeah. Russian leg sweep into the top rope, excuse me.
Wonder if I could get a pretzel.
Dig in the face. You got that VIP ticket, you can cut in line.
Do we have a VIP? I'm being told in my earphones that we do not have VIP status.
Well, no, you don't. You gotta hang out with Joe Rosa for that. And RJ methodically wearing down Taven. I can't recall if there's ever been a Super Indy where we've had a manager out here.
I know Super Indy 1, Dennis Gregory had a valet.
He was not in the tournament.
Yeah, good point. But that was during Super Indy. I was not wrong.
Again, you understand my point. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just adding a caveat.
I know. I'm just saying I'm right.
Taven with an elevated Boston crab.
Knee to the back.
Yeah. This hurts more than a standard Boston crab because of the pressure it puts.
Sometimes referred to as a torture crab, now into a standard.
And RJ to the ropes. I know we had a personal photographer at ringside before. And Taven still complaining about him being unable to see.
Well, he shouldn't have taken that thumb to the eye.
I'm sure it wasn't his idea. I'm just certain.
You defend against your opponent's offense.
I understand. That's not legal, though.
Well, clearly the match has been stopped and given to Matt Taven's favor then. The police are on their way. It's so illegal.
Is this the first time you've watched wrestling? Of course RJ did it.
Is this the first time you've watched wrestling? For the love of God, he got away with an eye poke. You don't get thrown out for an eye poke.
First time
when was the last time that happened? Hackenschmidt?
When was the last time you saw someone use an eye poke in a Super Indy tournament?
Just now. It was great.
Okay.
It worked. Who has the advantage?
RJ City has the advantage. I hope that doesn't last. 5 minutes have elapsed.
Okay.
That wasn't for you. That was for the time. RJ measures Taven. A leaping slap to the face.
Oh. Hey, talk about a head game. Oh. Hey, Taven kept the receipt.
Now he's dishing one out. RJ finding out how grueling Super Indy can be here. It turns things around. And you got to wonder if Taven has regained full vision yet. You know, you get something caught in your eye, I can bother you for, I can bother you all day.
Yeah. It was a smart move by RJ City.
It was an effective move by RJ City.
It was effective. How are you arguing that?
I'm not arguing that.
I say smart, you're like, well, it was effective.
Yeah.
What? It was blue. Well, it was mauve. For the love of God.
I'm not saying it was smart because if RJ City, I don't think it's a smart move for RJ City to look for shortcuts in a Super Indy tournament when he's got the whole world mad at him.
Why not?
Eventually it's going to bite him in the butt, and it might be this match.
This belief that there's some sort of wrestling karma is ridiculous. If it works,
you don't believe there's a responsibility and a counteraction for everybody's actions?
No, I believe that you win the match. That's the goal.
Okay.
If you can do it with a poke to the eye, then you do it with a poke to the eye.
I see why you don't have many friends.
And then I have plenty of friends.
We can have a double count out here. Then no one advances. We're 4 seconds away. RJ and Taven have taken so much out of each other. That would buck tradition. Not the way RJ wants, though.
Oh.
Both men to a knee and fighting. And this is the Super Indy that certainly has gained its reputation for years. You can't stand, but you're still going to fight.
And no one's putting up any defense. It is just offense. Oh, there we go. And he's been appropriately warned.
All right. Well,
the correct action occurred. Do you want to get the Riot Squad out here?
Well, now you make it seem as if I'm overreacting, but don't.
You are. That's because you're overreacting. Because you have personal feelings about the way RJ City conducts himself.
I have personal feelings about the way Super Indy is conducted, and somebody comes along and thinks he's better than that, and a huge back body drop. I'm sorry for being a traditionalist. I'm sorry for thinking in the vein of the AJ Styles and the Jerry Lynn's and the Super Hentai.
Oh, trust me, I'm sorry about it too.
Taven. Curry. The Blue Thunder bomb. Taven bomb. Got it, no. Man, that was close.
That was very close.
Keep in mind, one of these men will join Facade in that final three.
This is for a spot in it.
Still one more person to establish. We'll do that next.
Taven first to his feet. Oh. And this is not the game that RJ City wants to play.
And now, good night, everybody. That's sleeper hold once again.
Good night, everybody. Just go ahead and call it.
No, we're not going to call it.
Well, no, he's out. Look, he's out. He's down.
He's still on
He's
one
out.
knee. His hand is moving.
That's just reflexive. He's out.
Oh, get out of here. Now who's changing the rules?
I might be a little.
Taven gets that adrenaline going. Up and over. And Taven connects with a kick. RJ City's hurt.
He's feeling that one.
And now, Taven may have hit behind that turnbuckle pad, Jay, into that steel bolt.
Yeah, that is. For those who don't know, that is a bolt wrapped in a piece of fabric. There is no padding there.
And now, after being hit with potentially steel, Taven's got 6 seconds to get up and back in the ring. Taven's got a fight here. Super Indy on the line. Can Taven... Oh, Taven... Wait, hey! Come on now. LeBar just pushed... LeBar tripped Taven. RJ had the official for a split second.
Hey, when you wrestled Don Morocco, you had to keep an eye on Fuji.
A count out in Super Indy? Are you kidding me?
Hey, it counts. If that was such a problem, they could have made it no count out.
I'm with these people.
And moving on to the finals, as a result of a countout, RJC!
Taven just realized what happened. And in all my years that I've been here, I have never seen a Super Indy match end so indecisively. Count out proves nothing, especially under those circumstances. RJ robs his way into the final.
Well, maybe next year they make it no count out.
Introducing first, he weighs in at 236 pounds, wrestling out of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. He is all ego, Ethan Page!
Ethan overcame Lewis Lyndon, no easy feat. Coupled that with a victory in the qualifying round against Facade. And Ethan certainly will have a leg up if he can make it to the finals.
And hypothetically, we could be looking at a Super Indy final with 2 out of 3 competitors being from Canada. Think about that. Canada. You know they call their dollars loonies?
Is that true?
Yeah, like the coins.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And the $2 coin's called a toonie.
A toonie.
Toonie.
Loonies and toonies.
Hey, I'm trying to smarten you up in case you need some Timbits. Ethan Page.
He needs smartened up, I think.
The National Dance of Canada.
He weighs in at 180 pounds, wrestling out of Houston, Texas. He is the best ever, Sammy Guevara!
And what about this kid beating Petey Williams? That, to me, may be the biggest upset in Super Indy history.
Yeah, you want to talk about momentum going into a match. There it is.
Sammy, based out of Houston. 20 years old, as I mentioned, almost 21. He's not the youngest competitor in Super Indy history, but he's certainly near the top of that list. Both Zima and Gory were 18 when they begun their journey.
Yeah, very true. Our audience knows it's a wrestling match and not a referee highlight, right?
I would hope so. Well, Sammy just took credit for anything Troy Davis knows. And I'm not sure what Ethan's doing. He's disrobing our official.
Yeah. The all-ego Ethan Page is making the point I did. Clearly, they want to see the refs. Well, Super Indy 13, ref vengeance.
They must not know Clemens very well. Okay, we've got a shirt. Okay.
Oh, camouflage. Smart.
Camouflage. And now it's Sammy and Troy Davis. I'll just be over here.
I got to give the advantage to Troy Davis. He could hypothetically just.
Oh, come on! That's what happens when you got a 20-year-old kid outsmarted by a deceitful and evil individual with a God complex.
Oh, jeez. Evil?
I would say he's quite evil. You ever talk to the guy?
No, but I mean, what's he bringing up? Like, hail Satan? I killed my mom today?
Well, not quite.
Satan said it was okay? That rhymed. Oh, that was an evil-sounding chop. Oh.
Just imagine how it felt.
I'd rather not.
Sammy not going to take it laying down. I'll be having a talk with him about that later. And Sammy goes suicide dive.
Gets him back in the ring. Springboard.
Hurricane Rana. And Sammy, out of nowhere, Fosbury flop.
Running Fosbury flop. Right now they are playing Sammy's game. Ethan Page needs to slow this down if he wants to make it.
Sammy soaking in the reception. He calls himself the best ever. He nearly beat Facade in his debut nearly a year ago. Sammy may have a very mild-mannered exterior. He may be, on the surface, a soft and cuddly panda bear. However, inside, Sammy has the explosive offense that we just saw.
I don't know that you can say that someone's a soft and cuddly panda bear that's with a mild exterior when he calls himself the best thing ever.
Well,
or the best ever, or the best thing I ever ate, whichever it was. Still think that's chicken. Man, I could go for some chicken.
Ethan turns things around.
Whoa!
Cover, 2-0, and you raise a point about Sammy's demeanor, but he came into this matchup very unassuming. I think Super Indy's field has maybe humbled Sammy quite a bit.
Possibly.
If albeit only temporarily. Ethan, however, will never be humbled. Ethan told me earlier that he is actually paid extra every time he comes out here. Every single matchup counts as an appearance for him, and his fee goes up. He also went out to eat fast food earlier, came back, and tried to ask for trans for it.
I fail to see a problem with any of that. Yeah, he's not here on a voluntary basis.
Well,
this isn't out of the goodness of his heart.
Certainly not, but Ethan takes it to extreme. Nicely done. Sliced bread variation. Out of the corner for 2.
Did we cover his meal?
I don't know.
Well, you brought it up.
Well,
I wasn't saying so. Tell me about the eating habits of Ethan Page.
I'm telling you what Ethan told me.
Did he get the transport on it?
Well, I'm sure he believes that he will,
but not yet. I mean, we don't have a confirmation.
My sources are busy.
What kind of journalist are you?
Apparently not as good a one as I thought. Sammy fighting free. That could have been very, very precarious.
Oh.
Imagine that drop from the apron to this barely protected floor.
Oh.
And with that cutter countered, Sammy was watching the earlier round. Check this out.
Oh.
Rolling, standing, moonsault, nicely done.
Oh.
Double stomp, 2-endo.
Lost his footing on Ethan's chest and just dropped onto him.
By this contest, 5 minutes.
Was that an orca?
What?
It's
Pedro.
Oh. Hey, Pedro. Thank you, Pedro.
Sammy signaling for something. Can this kid, trained at Booker T's Wrestling Academy, make history twice?
Oh, he's one of Booker's kids.
Ethan. Superplex.
That should have been a 5 count.
Both men are jockeying for position here.
I don't see you getting angry over the match possibly ending like that.
There's a boot. That wasn't intentional.
They were both standing up there. I think it was intentional.
It was leverage. It was an attempt for leverage. Nobody swept anybody's legs to get
5 seconds. Do I need to recite the rules?
Oh my God!
Is that would we call that a Falcon Arrow?
Super Falcon Arrow? What's the step
Super
above a Falcon?
duper Falcon Arrow.
Now, the cutter again. Got it. Ethan.
And that's it.
Moving on to the finals. Sammy. Whoa!
Whoa! The kid still has a little fight left in him.
And no one in this building is more surprised than Ethan Page himself.
He shouldn't be resting. Get on him. Put the boots to him. Maybe poke him in the eye.
I don't think Ethan planned on there needing to be anything else to do. I think that was the end of the plan.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, you can tell by the look on his face. That doesn't mean you don't adopt, adapt, and improve.
Sammy. He has to improve that situation. Cradle, Sammy!
Here is your winner of the quarterfinals, Sammy Guevara!
Kid did it again!
You have to believe that all ego Ethan Page is upset. 1, because he won't be going to the title. And 2, because he won't get another appearance fee.
And it's Ethan's ego that came back to bite him.
He didn't have anything else left on the playbook. So Sammy got to write the ending.
Sammy now becomes the youngest man to ever enter the Super Indy Finals. This kid may be the best ever. By the end of the night, 20-year-old kid makes the semifinal round his own. Sammy Facade, defending champion city, still to come in your feature.
Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Plummer here with your IWC World Heavyweight Champion, Dalton Castle. For tonight, Dalton, you'll be defending that title versus a man who claims he has not been pinned or submitted in greater than 4 years in the IWC, founding father's own Jimmy Vegas.
4 years? Jimmy, how does one come about not getting pinned or submitted in 4 years? That sounds like some sort of sorcery or witchcraft. You don't think Jimmy Vegas is a witch, do you?
He's a monster!
Maybe it's because he wrestles but once a month. Odds are pretty stacked on your side, huh, Jimmy? It's kind of easy to get that kind of reputation when you're not really challenging yourself. But a streak's a streak, and I can respect that. And you've been a part of IWC much longer than I have, so I can respect that too. But you have to respect the fact that this is the IWC Championship. And if you plan on challenging me for it, you better come out swinging. Because if you try to wrestle me, I will not hesitate to drop you on your head. I'm the IWC Champion today, and I'm the IWC Champion forever!
Jimmy Vegas, Jimmy, you got something to say? Wayne,
I like beer!
I got nothing to say.
They're drunk!
Listen, Dalton, asshole, if that's your real name, you want to talk about respect. This ain't some 150-pound flippity-flop Super Indy like they've been watching all night. This is the one-man riot you're facing tonight. Jimmy effing Vegas. I'm going to be out there doing my best to get myself in the IWC Alcohol of Fame tonight. But tonight, he's going to crank up the intensity. Tonight, the IWC stands for Intense Wrestling at Court Time. And you think you're going to walk out of here with that heavyweight title? The funny part ain't that you're going to walk out of here with that title. The funny part is that you think you're going to walk out of here tonight. Tomorrow is Father's Day. Today is Founding Father's Day. Get in here, Plumber. Happy Founding Father's Day. I got you a tie.
Hey, hey.
Get him a beer.
Somebody get him a refill.
The following is a special non-tournament tag team matchup scheduled for one fall. It is for the IWC Tag Team Championship. It's Team number 1, being accompanied to ringside by Ginger and Corey Futuristics. They weigh in at a combined weight of 420 pounds. Here is the round of the lanes of Kingpin McDowell and Just Flexor, your reigning and defending IWC Tag Team Champions, the STDs.
Well, bit of a mood change from what we've seen so far this evening. They're unlikely, they're unconventional, but they've been very, very successful as IWC Tag Team Champions. Chest Flexor, Kingpin McDowell, of course, escorted by Ginger and Corey Futuristic. Set for a big-time defense.
And their opponents and challengers. Weighing combined weight of 435 pounds. Here's the team at the Bearcat, Keith Haught, and the extremely cute wrestler, Colin Delaney. Together, they are hooked and cute.
And this matchup starting already.
Is he wearing a bear head?
Okay.
Bear ears?
Maybe. Would you be surprised? As this matchup starts as a complete brawl, the STDs wasting no time getting their hands on Colin Delaney and Keith Haught, knowing full well Colin and Haught are themselves former IWC Tag Champions.
Yeah, and it looks like Colin having some trouble trying to get up to the ring.
Oh, and that's not going to help matters. Colin hits the steel hard. Keith Haught just ripped into his partner. STDs came in with a strategy.
And a smart strategy. Take the fight to him.
Keep in mind, this matchup was made because Keith Haught was victorious over the STDs in 8-man tag team action. It was Haught, Bronco McBride, Jay Flash, and Gregory Iron defeating the STDs at Night of Superstars in Meadville, Pennsylvania. Night of Superstars 3, I should say, as McDowell down for the cover 2-0. Each of those individuals on Haught's team really representing a different tag team that they've been in. And Haught got the pinfall, and as a result, Colin, I guess, won the lottery, for lack of a better term.
Bulldog by
a great double team. STDs work so well together.
Yeah, they really, really do.
Alone, they're kind of misfits and outcasts, but they've really found a home amongst each other.
Everybody needs someone to love. Or
are you gonna break out in the song?
No, not without a separate fee. My music rights are handled independently.
We'll get that as an Easter egg.
I'm just saying, to test the mics earlier, I sang a couple bars, and not a dry eye in the Sorgatron truck. I'm telling you.
Please.
Just brought tears.
Oh, well, Colin Delaney a lot less dry than he was a moment ago. Flexor spitting all over him.
Flexor knows the game plan.
You don't want to get fluid from an STD on you.
Very true. Very, very true. Maybe we ought to get a medical professional out here to take a look at Colin while we're here.
Yeah, well, take a look at the STDs while we're at it. These individuals look like they've been in some shady business.
I think they look like they're currently in some shady business. A blind tag.
And McDowell from behind. Haught never knew the tag was made.
Yep.
Flexor consoling himself, and that's not going to help matters. Got dropped legs first.
Good. He's rubbing his hiney.
Yeah, he's rubbing his coccyx.
Yeah, trying to get some feeling back in there. Yeah, the coccyx is higher.
Okay, well, somewhere in that.
Hey, trust me, when you're talking about in that region, location matters, okay?
I would assume so, especially when STDs are involved.
Amen.
Flexor gets pushed off a Haught. Tag into cute. Hot tag. And Colin's been waiting for this ever since he got knocked off the apron. Nice. Colin's been semi-active lately due to a nagging back injury. I see no signs of that thus far.
Yeah, looks good so far. Up and over. Corey Futuristic trying to get involved.
Up and over a guy that shouldn't even be involved. Flexor with a go behind. Insert your joke here. Corey cowering on the outside as Colin was approaching him.
It was sort of like the biggest flinch ever.
Yeah.
Which he's not involved in the match, so I can understand how you wouldn't want to get hit.
Well, you know what? Most of his worst beatings have come in IWC in matches he was not involved in. Sometimes they were even in interviews he wasn't involved in. I'm not even exaggerating. That's the thing. Now Haught's in. Haught and McDowell, the two big boys. And now, Keith Haught. Gonna create the shield for Colin. Diamond food. Colin puts it all on the line.
And wouldn't you know, Corey Futuristic came over to make sure everyone was okay. I think he may have taken the brunt of it.
He saw the first two coming, but wasn't ready for the third.
You think he knew that was going to happen?
You'd think he would.
He's from the future.
Allegedly.
Oh, hello. Agility. Second and none for somebody to keep on size. Here comes Kingpin, though. How's your bowling game, Jayworth?
It used to be good till I cut off part of my thumb.
It's a really bad strategy.
Yeah. Turns out it didn't help much.
Oh, this is going to help out.
Oh!
Hello!
Giant neck breaker.
Second time in short order, Colin's fallen on his head. And Colin's still alive.
And Keith Haught trying to pull himself back up to the ring.
Yeah, Colin's in dire trouble here. 2-on-1 disadvantage. And Keith bails out Colin. Little flip-flop and fly.
Oh!
Bowler bomb. And Colin. Lancing blow to Kingpin, who's dazed.
All four men down.
And Colin, the only one really stirring. All four men up and the fight continues. And it's advantage STDs for a moment.
Yeah, STDs winning the brawl.
Never mind. Haught and Cute looking to be two-time champions.
And Corey Futuristic has some words to say.
Colin daring him to step in the ring and do something about it.
These are futuristic words.
Wait a second. That's Madison. That's the business advisor of Marshall the Bull. Keep in mind, Marshall was in that gauntlet with the STDs last month. And as a result, it's Marshall and Madison versus the STDs.
Oh!
Next month in Proving Ground, but it may not be a title match. Just Colin and Keith with a double team.
Samoan drop neck breaker, and is Keith going airborne.
I think it's time, Jayworth. Hot mess. No Kingpin. Colin didn't see what happened. That bowling ball. Oh no! Ooh. That bowling ball to the skull.
That's 15 pounds. And it does not give.
Referee never saw it. Flexor barely on top. Come on.
Here are your winners,
what you will, the evidence is mounting, but the STDs will walk out of Super Indy, tag titles intact.
Yep. McDowell has his title, his partner, and his ball all in his hand. He looks like a happy man.
And Corey Futuristic acting like he done something.
He did, he got the titles.
Sexy, talented dudes find a way to stay dominant over the tag team division. Up next, IWC title versus undefeated streak.
The following contest is a special non-tournament singles contest scheduled for one fall. It is for the IWC World Heavyweight Championship. Your referee, Jacob.
While tonight's about Super Indy, you can't forget the top prize.
Introducing first challenger, being accompanied to ringside by Justin Idol and the War Machine, Dennis Gregory. He weighs in at 242 pounds, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He is the one-man riot, Jimmy Vegas!
To anyone who only knows Jimmy Vegas from his recent exploits and think that he is not deserving of this opportunity, think again. Jimmy Vegas dominated IWC in the early part of the 2000s with victories over Tommy Dreamer, the Sandman, Raven, and a young man named CM Punk. Jimmy Vegas survived one of the most feared moves in wrestling, a pile driver from Jerry the King Lawler, 3 or 4 times over. And it has been over 4 years, back to the Norm Connors era, since you can trace Jimmy Vegas's last pinfall loss.
Jimmy Vegas is a force to be reckoned with. He has size and maneuverability that let him do whatever he wants.
He weighs in at 225 pounds, wrestling out of Albany, New York. He is your reigning and defending IWC World Heavyweight Champion, Colin.
The era of the Peacock has been a smash success thus far. Ever since beating John McChesney for the gold, Dalton has survived Big Luke Gallows, Joseph Brooks, Matt Taven, Bobby Fish, and others along the way.
I need to point out, so far, Jimmy Vegas hasn't even looked at Dalton Castle.
What do you think is running through the mind of Jimmy Vegas, knowing this is an opportunity Vegas has not had in many, many years? Perhaps, I'll have to check my research, upwards of a decade.
I would say catch him, smash him. That's what he's thinking. Catch him, pick him up, fall on top of him, and just squish him. Squish.
How much of a factor will Vegas's power play into effect here? Dalton is larger than the average victim Jimmy Vegas has bullied over the past couple of years.
Sure, but I need to point out Vegas is still gigantic.
To be sure.
And there's the handshake.
Vegas has spent the past few years using his veteran status as part of the Founding Fathers to bully, to haze, and to push around the young rookies of IWC, most notably lately, Sam Cassidy and Remy LeVay, the Night Riders.
Did you hear that?
Please review for me.
I've seen chain wrestling. Get in this ring and hit me, you fat monkey.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's what this matchup will be. It will be a fight, a brawl, a slugfest. It will be power on power. And you can see the determination on the face of Dalton.
Dalton came into this looking for a fight, and I think Jimmy Vegas is more than willing to oblige.
Keep in mind the priceless knowledge of Dennis Gregory, the only 5-time champion in history.
Gregory won his championship much a different way than Vegas. That's an extra perspective and an extra set of hands to create distraction.
Very true. I need to point out there, Dalton Castle was not letting Jimmy Vegas get back into the ring. Gregory provided a distraction just to get Vegas into the ring.
Are you trying to justify the physical contact?
I'm saying you do what you got to do.
Well, wasn't Dalton just doing what he had to do?
I don't blame him for doing it. It was a good strategy. I'm just saying that the Founding Fathers, as is their wont, figured out a way around it. It's what they do best.
Well, Dalton defends that championship as well as anybody we've seen in recent memory. But Vegas, textbook fluid suplex. And I noticed the VIP section, headed by Joe Rosa and his bouncers and whatever that lady over there is, giving Vegas
a woman.
Well, I knew that much. Giving Vegas a standing ovation. How sarcastically, one must assume, based on the interaction we saw, not only with Rosa earlier tonight, but between Rosa and Vegas in their heated argument back in White Oak.
Yeah, they clearly do not get along. Well, and that's sort of a understatement.
Rosa has a very big mouth.
Yeah.
And even when the Founding Fathers were bullying the Cassidys and Remys and HDs across the years, those kids were very respectful and didn't deserve it. Some would say maybe Rosa deserves a little bit of a humbling experience.
Oh. And that was a running knee right to the head.
We missed if we didn't mention Justin Idol at ringside as well, dangerous in his own right.
Very true. Already through a match this evening.
Man who turned his back on all of his students.
You couldn't phrase it as a man who decided to look out for himself?
No, because his first match was against his students. That's pretty much betrayal.
It's pretty much wrestling. The student and the teacher eventually meet. They always eventually meet.
Dennis has left the building.
Follow a slam. Vegas has not lost any of that strength.
And
what's going on over here by the entranceway? Dennis Gregory having words with the bouncers. Idol over there as well. And this is not.
And the Founding Fathers are not happy.
I think this VIP experiment's going south quick.
And the Founding Fathers are being ushered out.
We have IWC security, we have VIP security. And why is Rosa picking an argument with the Founding Fathers? Match continues in the ring as we attempt to settle this down on the outside. Dalton getting fired up inside.
And Dalton Castle just fell out of the ring. He wanted that fat monkey to punch him.
And it's all Vegas at the moment.
Yep.
Well, no, Vegas has a temper. We talk about this. You gotta believe Vegas saw what happened in that VIP area.
Vegas.
Well, watch this agility, Dalton. Beautiful counter.
Turn around into a Rana.
And that's something the average Jimmy Vegas opponent would not be able to do to Jimmy Vegas.
True. That size helped him get around with that.
Look at this. Oh, Dalton put the brakes on, but still took an awkward spill.
5 minutes gone by this contest, 5 minutes.
Well, we know that Joe Rosa's in the back of Jimmy Vegas's head. He took time out. Even though he tried to keep focus on the match, he still went over.
Jeez! You could hear that clunk of Dalton bouncing off of that steel ring post.
Yeah, I can't imagine that felt good.
You gotta wonder if Vegas is looking at Dalton and seeing Joe Rosa now.
Could Jimmy Vegas be the new IWC champion? The Founding Fathers could be back on top, where they feel they should have never left.
Well, they won't do it by count out.
That's true. Vegas needs to think here. Not a wise move by Vegas, and I think that's his temper overriding him at this point. I think Vegas wants to get this over to go after Rosa, and Dalton makes the count.
Oh!
He's release overhead suplex. Two-rando.
There wasn't any technique in that. It was just, grab a hold of a body part, yank and throw.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's Dalton to his feet. Not easy to match Jimmy Vegas in a slugfest with a party peacock knowing it.
Vegas reeling from these strikes. Throws him off with the bulldog.
Vegas might have been setting up for that cha-ching slam. Overhead suplex. Dalton. He's got an amateur background as well. Very well versed. Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. Vegas was announced at what, 242? He's at least that. He may have had 1 foot on the scale. Oh, a deadlift?
Vegas, 242?
A deadlift? Can Dalton, German, Vegas overhead? If he does, this match will be over. Vegas knows it. Fighting. Cha-ching slam. It's won him IWC titles before. Could it do the job at Super Indy 13?
He's not fast enough to get a cover. They're not counting that as a cover. He was sort of laying on him.
Now, certainly, whatever it was, Vegas couldn't keep it. Vegas has a lot taken out of him as well. And we are at 8. No, as both men arrive.
And this is what Castle wanted, a slugfest.
Jeez. I got to give Edge Vegas in this one.
Yeah.
Oh, you can tell. You can see
His
Dalton's.
fucking rights.
You can see Dalton's knees buckle, and Dalton couldn't get the overhead German. Not enough strength in the legs, but a great amateur-style counter.
Oh, but maybe here.
Second time, third time, really. Again, no. Vegas is too much mass.
I think Castle wants to prove something, and frankly, I think he ought to forget about proving that he can do it and worry about winning the match.
Well, we've seen Dalton elevate Doc Gallows before, who's about 290.
Great.
But that was a different circumstance.
Yeah, and that's also not facing Jimmy Vegas, who knows how to win the IWC title.
Twice. Oh, they're on the apron.
Dalton backs up.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Ooh. Awkward spill, but Dalton lands on his feet. Look at this.
Oh, kick to the head.
Momentum working against Dalton there. Dalton's just motionless.
And Jimmy Vegas.
And this is getting dangerous.
I can't say I'd want to be up there with Vegas.
We got about 500 pounds of mass scaling these turnbuckles. And Dalton able to trip up Vegas.
Vegas hung up. Oh!
Knee to the temple! What is this?
Oh! And then just a stomp from the top rope.
That ain't pretty, but it's effective.
10 minutes gone by this contest, 10 minutes.
And Dalton feeling it.
And Vegas in and right back out, trying to shake the cobwebs.
Dalton pushing Vegas back in, but how much time is Dalton losing having to follow?
Submission attempt. That is a large frame to negotiate. A variation of a heel hook of sorts here. Almost like the Charlie Haas of pain.
But to the other side, it was sort of a Texas cloverleaf, but standing outside of it, or sitting outside of it.
Well, Vegas gets to the rope. He could sense impending doom. And we're brawling to the outside again.
Ooh. You have to believe that every time Dalton Castle... the VIP section just got involved.
Now, this is not what they're here to do. And now we got bouncers hopping the rail and getting involved.
And Dalton Castle takes advantage.
My God, Howard Kernatz just got it. Deadlift German. The bouncers! What in the hell?
And they're just laying into both of them now.
This is ridiculous. This is not Rosa's place here. It's not what the VIP section was supposed to be.
And Vegas and Castle are just staring each other down.
And now one of them left to the wolves.
And Joe Rosa up on the ramp.
I think Rosa's trying to rally the troops.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been informed that due to outside interference, Jake Clements has thrown this match out. This is a no contest. Still, your IWC World Heavyweight Champion, Dalton Castle.
Check this out. Handshake from Vegas to Dalton. Out of all these Super Indy encounters I thought I'd see tonight, that's not one where I expected a handshake.
You want to talk about unhappy? Look at the look on Vegas's face.
You want to talk about the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Dalton and Vegas united by a common bond of hatred, a disdain for what VIP Joe Rosa has done, overstepping his bounds during an important title match.
Introducing competitor number one. He weighs in at 195 pounds and he's all over the streets of North. Frequent while you're sleeping.
Whoa! RJ City, again, bucking tradition and starting this with a sheep shot from behind. Guevara's not even out here. Are you kidding me? And both these men are fighting, but again, I have never seen this in Super Indy's history. RJ trying to win. The match didn't even start yet. This is just completely out of hand.
RJ's plan just backfired.
I'm not sure if RJ had already attacked Sammy in the back or what.
Referee Troy Davis?
Good job.
Thank you. Everyone was chanting it earlier. Refused to do the count because there's not 3 men in the ring yet.
That's a fair point. Here comes Sammy.
Start the match.
And Sammy, look at this. From Jump Street. Sammy goes for broke. RJ out. And Facade makes a big mistake interrupting its elimination. Huge mistake by Facade. That could have knocked the champion out. I'm not sure if that was instinct.
Facade's already in fight mode.
Was it instinct or was it the means of revenge? Why did Facade not want RJ eliminated?
I don't even know that he was thinking that far ahead. I think he just knew he got jumped, and then he saw a pin. Sometimes it's just gut reaction.
Facade won Super Indy 12 in this format last year. He has also pinned Sammy Guevara. Fate could be on Facade's side, but that is history, not prophecy.
History's great for books. It's not so good for predicting the future.
Sammy could very well be the future. 20 years of age, youngest man to ever be in this position. and youngest man to perhaps ever get his head kicked off by Facade in the finals. Oh, look out, Facade catches himself. Goes low on Guevara.
And springboard kick.
And another great example of why Facade versus Guevara was so good a year ago. Facade is so hard to prepare for, but Guevara may be 1A on that list.
So is this no count out?
Oh, hello, Facade flies. It is not no count out, but the frequent interruptions into the ropes would have negated any count to begin with. Facade being distracted as tempers flare with the stakes at hand. Sammy losing his balance, but trying to plan a miraculous shot to the outside.
You heard a hard thud as he hit the ground.
Which could have been any number of various parts of Sammy's
I'm
body.
worried, based upon how he's holding his head, that's what hit.
And again, not to harp on it, but
Sammy Guevara has been eliminated.
Sammy has been injured. And that's not the way. Certainly, again, you admire the heart and determination, but that's not the way you want to see somebody eliminated.
Yeah, very true. However, the match goes on, and Facade keeping on top of RJ.
And I think that was a great judgment call. Wait a second. Sammy's up! And Sammy's going nuts!
It's too late. Hey, he's out. That should be a DQ.
But who would you DQ?
Well, you DQ whoever didn't get attacked.
And this match continues.
Oh! Oui, monsieur.
Two heads collide as Facade. Elevated sidekick. Facade gonna win this 2 years in a row. No. Jay Worth, I know you've associated with previous winner Hentai, as Facade covers Sammy many, many times. Took Hentai 7 years, 6-7 years to get back to the top. You know how hard it is to compete and perform in almost a dynasty-like fashion in Super Indy. How amazing would it be for Facade to do this?
Oh, it would be amazing. He can't think about it. Right now, he has to think about just win this match. The dynasty, the record setting. Oh! All of that has to be put to the back of his head, and he has to concentrate on winning twice.
Yeah. Sammy.
Or at least not losing once and winning once.
Sammy gonna elevate himself. Watch Facade. Springboard Hurricane Rana. Facade gets two for the price of one. Cover to Sammy, no. Cover to RJ. Got it, no. And LeBar having a conniption fit on the outside.
Yeah, understandable. Oh, he's looking for the dreadlock.
And LeBar, with that obnoxious face he's got in his hands. That cutout of RJ distracting Facade.
Thank you for pointing out which face was obnoxious.
The Super Indy Samurai gonna tag RJ City.
I believe it says Go Ninja.
Oh! And LeBar got it.
Well, you want the crowd to love you.
Now Facade with a chance.
Oh, he's paying too much attention to LeVar.
What was that? Did RJ
Sammy Guevara is officially eliminated.
Did RJ just use Facade spray paint in the eyes of Sammy?
Honestly, I didn't see it.
He's holding his face.
Once again, RJ City spitting in the face of Super Indy tradition. And it's up to Facade, the Super Indy Samurai, with a legacy of Super Indy on his shoulders.
And he is just laying those kicks into RJ City.
We will see history made one way or the other. Good night, everybody. Could Super Indy be lost on a sleeper? Second attempt.
Oh, and he hasn't locked in. Facade had the ropes.
Yeah, but he wasn't able to sustain.
Yeah, the ref didn't notice.
Facade looking to break that grasp more than anything. And that missed call could be the end of Facade's Super Indy dreams. He may be in dreamland. And this drops 3 times. RJ retains.
Oh! He still a little gas in the tank, Joe.
Facade had to. Everything he's built his career upon is being defended here. Dreadlock attempt. Got it. No, into the sleeper. RJ countered, center of the ring. And Facade is horizontal. Rolls through with the weight. No. My God, so close.
And here it is again.
And then the bridge on the tiptoes, as we discussed earlier.
He has it. Wow, look at that bridge.
RJ is in trouble.
And what's Lamar doing? He just came back here.
Wait, the referee got something in his eyes. Was RJ's... Did he get a straight arm maybe or elbow in the eye?
And I don't know, but there's a chair.
Oh, get out of here. That's not Super Indy. That proves nothing. Nothing. Do not end Super Indy like this.
On the flip side, a brilliant move by RJ City.
Oh, it's vile. Spits in the face of everybody and everything he's supposed to be. And the official caught him.
Eddie Guerrero had more success with that. I'm just saying.
Eddie Guerrero was a better man than RJ ever will be. No. Super Indy title.
Oh!
No. This is disgusting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I believe you meant the sports entertainment title. And in first person.
And the only man who successfully go through the entire tournament and is still Super Indy champion,
RJ City did it. RJ City did the impossible.
And Chuck out here to present the belt to RJ.
The rich history. Super Hentai. Colt Cabana. AJ Styles. Chris Sabin. Larry Sweeney. Delirious. Jerry Lynn. John McChesney.
And Justin Palace. Andrew Palace. Why do I keep calling him Justin?
Andrew Palace didn't like it either. RJ City, all those names, all that lineage. RJ spits right in each and every one of their faces. RJ retains Super Indy and wins the tournament.
That's entertainment.
What you're seeing in the ring is what Super Indy was born with in mind. What Super Indy was built upon.
For Sammy Guevara, Facade, and
And even though RJ City has won this tournament and rechristened this championship the Sports Entertainment title, the spirit of Super Indy will not die as long as these men are around. RJ City, your fight is ongoing. The war has just begun. The philosophical differences will continue, but these men will not go away. Good night from the Court Time Sports Center. Jay Williams and Farnsworth, Joe Dombrowski, thank you for being a part of the tradition that lives on of Super Indy 13.
That's all, folks.